Hey Stu, I saw your video kind of asking about this ABUS 6440, and I wasn't sure. I couldn't remember exactly what it was like, so I went ahead and grabbed mine and brought it out. You can see the king on mine, 5-pin lock there. Yeah, so I guess, what do I notice about it? Well, as far as keeping track of like how deep you need the pick to go in for the pins, I don't know if I can get it to focus on here or not, but if you get it in just the right light, you can see these little circles on the top of it, and that's actually where they drilled and tapped the holes for it. So you can get an idea of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So those 5 pins. That's about how deep the pick needs to go in there for it. And you can also see a sixth one there, and that's actually for the retaining pin. And you can feel that inside the lock before you go to the wall, and it does not budge at all. So if you feel one pin way in the back that does not want to move, that's a retaining pin, and you can bend your pick on it. But these other 5 are, so you're going in about that deep, not too deep. The other way you can sort of feel that and just get a feel for the regular pin state is just lifting them up and going through. And using this short flat hook, I can sort of rock in 1, 2, 3, 4-ish, 5, the wall, or the retaining pin, and then the wall. So as far as the turning tools, if you're using the top of keyway turners, that's probably good in the long run. The 40 thousandths on mine also fits in there pretty well. I kind of like how the 30 thousandths or 32 thousandths goes in even deeper, but technically it is touching that first pin, so that's personal preference, I suppose. I guess the only thing I would caution is that it's really easy to over tension. I feel like with these turners are just a little bit longer than this guy, these bent flat ones here, and because it's flat like this, I feel like it's going to be easier to apply more tension than maybe you intend to fairly easily. Whereas, I mean, for me personally, my preference for picking this lock is going to be this 30 thousandths at the bottom of the keyway, and that's just my personal preference. One of the reasons I kind of like the 30 thousandths at the bottom is I can move my pick up and down very easily like this, even if I am oversetting that top pin a little bit. It makes it easier to move and get the pick in there. I can clear it like that. But you can use the 40 thousandths at the top too. I just think it's a little easier to over tension it with this. And then on mine, I don't personally feel any spool pins. But I think other people were saying these definitely have them in it. So it could be that maybe mine just has the spool pin way here, like at the back here on pin 5 where it's pretty high and it doesn't actually get engaged all the way. So that might be why I don't see it. You may have yours might have like the spool pin on pin 2 and it definitely gets engaged. So I can't really speak to that. I guess the tip I always suggest is if you're going to pick the lock and everything feels springy, then you're not applying enough tension. But you can see I'm barely touching this thing. If I start going through, I start getting clicks. Yeah, I'm just barely touching it. So I don't think you can, I mean, it's almost hard to go too light tension on this lock. It's like if featherweight tensioning is enough. It is easy to put a lot of tension on there. And then like when I put a lot of tension, it doesn't even want to let me go past pin 4. And 2 things happen here. So like the pin doesn't want to lift. And then my pick here is actually hitting the turning tool. So I don't even get back to pin 4 to pick it. And meanwhile, while I'm messing around here, I might be oversetting pins 1, 2, or 3. But if I loosen up the tension, the pick slides in there a lot easier. If I just do light tension, I can slide back under pins 5 and 4 pretty easy. and then I can start lifting them like that. This one I don't even need to touch. Pins 1 through 3. They're so low that just the pick bumps them into the right spot. So all I have to do is pick pins 4 and 5, which is probably not helpful for you. I'm sorry. Different key bitting. But one of the advantages of like the, I guess that's the 40, so taking the 30 thousandths down at the bottom. So one of the other things I might suggest too is if you're going to pick the lock and you're going through and you notice, okay, so pins 1, 2, and 3, if they're always springy, they're not the first ones to pick. One of the things you can do is you can stick your pick all the way in, get up under pin 5, and once you're all the way in the back and under pin 5, then you can apply tension. So leave it open and then apply tension. And that way, if these are low cuts somewhere in the front, you're not oversetting them, but you can get back to those back pins and lift it. And so you can sort of, and before you apply tension, start picking from reverse. And yeah, the way you know that is if your front pins are all springy and you know you've got to go to the back anyways, you can go ahead and start in the back. Yeah. I don't know that there's much more to add on there. If they all sort of, if you get to a point, maybe you do have a spool pin or something like that. If they all feel like they're stuck and they don't really want to move, loosen up the tension a little bit. And then I think you use the word magic tickling, just like lightly tap each pin and see if the plug starts to rotate backwards a little. And if they don't, then maybe try that a couple times, go through it a few times, and just give them little light taps. They might be right on the threshold and just need to go up a teeny bit. And if not, if you've done that 2 or 3 times, but they're all kind of feeling like they're stuck in place, then you can loosen up a little more and repeat the process and keep going back. And hopefully, eventually, you'll either bump one of the pins up past the shear line, or you'll start to feel that counter rotation. And you've got a spool pin, and you just keep that tension steady and slowly lift it till you feel it click. Yeah. All right, so I'm going to stop there because I don't want to beat a dead horse. That's a lot of jabber. But good luck, sir. Catch you later.